all my Cancer friends. Welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and I'm here today with your December 2024 monthly horoscope. These horoscopes are based on whole sign Western astrology. So when I'm talking about Cancer, I'm referring to Cancer rising and Cancer being the first house of the chart. This is also applicable to Cancer sun and Cancer moon. And if you have 3 or more personal planets in the sign of Cancer, this video is for you as well. When I talk about a day or a time, it's based on the Pacific time zone, so please adjust for your location. The end of the year is just like the rest of the year, hot and lots of stuff going on. We have a Mars retrograde, and Mars retrograding in Leo is taking us back into Mars having another opposition with Pluto, but this time Pluto's in Aquarius. So it's a similar, very intense and maybe angry, somewhat criminal conversation. And yet at the same time, the theme's going to be a little bit different. So we're going to look at that. Neptune is going to go direct in Pisces and experience the last few months of its rulership in Pisces before it goes into Aries. Hasn't been in Aries since the 19th century, approximately 1862. Mercury will go direct. And Mercury is in a constant almost opposition to Jupiter this month. It goes in and out of orb, but there's still this idea that Mercury and Jupiter are in the exact opposite homes. They rule that axis, and so they're having to really look at things from a new perspective. Not easy to do. And then Jupiter will have its second exact square to Saturn. And while that's very strong, and it will have sort of a theme from August of 2024, Mercury's involved in the square now. It's actually a T square. So that's going to be pretty powerful. Let me pull up a chart. Let's look and see what houses this is going to happen for you and how it's going to play out. Okay. So Cancer, the month starts off. We've just had a new moon the day before. So there's a strong opportunity to set intentions, but we can see that the month starts off with this Mercury Jupiter opposition that I was talking about. They're literally they're in detriment, which means they're in the opposite signs of their rulership. And they're having a conversation with each other about the big picture, the little details, the information that's coming through. They're talking about things that could be potentially even about Sagittarius for you is your 6th house, and that makes Gemini your 12th house. This is a house, an axis that could have a lot to do with your work environment and what could potentially even be fair or just in your work environment. Sagittarius is justice. It rules the Department of Justice, and from my perspective, the branches of government there. We get up to the president and everything in the 10th house of Capricorn. So when we're looking at this 12th and 6th house axis, it's also an axis that has a lot to do with our health, our mental health, and how that trickles down into our physical health. And it's an axis that is known as an axis of suffering. The 12th house is the house of self-undoing, and the 6th house is the house of slavery. So the conversation going on here is, what is your beliefs about your 12th house? Having Jupiter going through Gemini would very much indicate, how your mind has worked in the past, potentially a lot of deliberation and consideration and worry, and, could involve a lot of communications in the past, but the information was not fleshed out fully. And then we go into that 6th house and we see Mercury, who's used to short bits of information having to expand itself. This may take a place in your physical world, because we also see that the opposition from Leo to Aquarius is in your 2nd and 8th house axis. So we're looking sort of at your money being up for, and your prosperity being up for conversation this month. Let me go to the 4th, and we're going to see Venus. Venus rules money. Where'd she go? Or she go? Oh, there she is. She's right up here at the very last degrees of Capricorn, but I bring her up because she's going to start this conjunction with Pluto, and this is also going to start an opposition with Mars. It's a loose orb. It's like 5 degrees on the 6th. Let me actually go to the 6th. This will be better, more efficient. Okay, so here we see that she's at the very last degree of Capricorn and conjunct. This is about money. This is about what I believe about money, what I believe about my ability to create money. The 8th house is, again, a house of money, other people's money. Capricorn is your 7th house of cooperative, professional partnerships, as well as marriages. And as the month grows, this Mars is going to retrograde, and it's going to retrograde back into your 1st house and go almost all the way halfway through it. So it's going to be unearthing some deep psychological place where you potentially have given up power, and give you an opportunity to transform that. But the transformation doesn't feel easy because the emotions aren't easily expressed. As Mars is in your 2nd house, it's a little more fiery, but as it moves back into your 1st house, that will actually be in January. But as it moves in these earlier degrees, it's really having it's trying to get its footing. It's almost as if Mars is in that fixed sign of Leo, is defending its position. And if there's any weakness within that position, then Pluto is going to erupt it. So if your house of skills, your house of your voice, your house of your talents and your gifts and your ability to make money, 2nd house Leo, something's going to be unearthed. And if you are kind of holding yourself small or in a weak position, that's not going to be sustainable. And we will see that as it's influenced by Saturn and Pisces in your 9th house of beliefs, and also a business house. So let's go now to, I want to go to the 7th, where we see Neptune go direct. Oh, not yet. Let's go to the 8th. Okay, so Neptune has gone direct. We see the growing square between Saturn and Jupiter. And while Mercury is still retrograde, it's going to be retrograde for another week or so before it moves forward again. There's this loose conversation, opposition square. So this is the big focal point. And I think this and the Pluto-Mars opposition are the 2 big main themes at the end of December. So this is focusing on history, historical beliefs, religious beliefs, an opportunity to expand your beliefs. And what Saturn is really doing, I think, in this particular transit through Pisces, is commanding, literally commanding all of us to build a very strong structure with our divinity within. And here's this 9th house overlay for you, which is the house that rules religion, the connection to the angelic realm, the connection to your divinity. Saturn will reward as you, Cancer, are willing to be more tenacious in understanding that your self-care, your happiness, your nurturing, your intuitions are important. And rather than deferring to the outside and maybe, taking care of others more than you take care of yourself, is actually a self-defeating energy, that there some sort of balance is being required. Let's go to the 11th, where we're going to see Venus and Mars go into an opposition. It's pretty exact. Let's see if I got the... Okay, so there's Mars and Venus is at here. Now, she's almost in an exact opposition with Mars. This to me is all about self-worth. It really does. About, here's Venus in this house of individual expression. For you, it's your 8th house of other people's money. Again, will other people pay for my services? Will other people listen to me if I do a podcast, or I put myself out there on some technological platform? If I invent ideas or go outside of the box, this could even be a Venus and Aquarius in the 8th house could be, starting to invest in in things like Bitcoin or electric money or technology in that way. And there's Mars retrograding and in that house of your self-worth. Literally, the second house is the house that shaped you as a child and what you believe in yourself. So you're going to be revisiting this, and there could be potentially some frustrations or angers that come up or old resentments, but Pluto's here to transform them. And you'll see that because Pluto and Mars are in an exact opposition at the very end of the year, kind of really wrapping up this very transformational 2024. All right, let's go to the 15th. There will be a full moon in Gemini. I'm going to do a separate video on that. But here we see Mercury has gone direct. Let me get off of Mars. So now Mercury is going to have its opportunity to go over the great attractor. And we're going to see Mercury is going to get a little bit of momentum. And as it does, it's going to again make that opposition to Jupiter, and they'll both focus in on Saturn over here. So that's that theme that's going on in the background. We also see that the nodes are starting to get towards the end of their journey through the Libra and Aries axis. This is the axis of your 4th and 10th house. Aries is your 10th house, Libra is your 4th house. And so there's going to be some things that come up karmically. When you look at Aries as the 10th house is a house of leadership. It's a house of public reputation and social status. So you're getting to really individualize yourself here, and also to, in some ways, allow whatever 4th house energies are not nurturing to you, whatever old stories were erosive to you at one point. Cancer gives you an opportunity to use those. And rather than trying to let them go, let them grow up into your 10th house where you can transform them. And I think that is also evidenced by your 2nd and 8th house axis with Pluto and Mars going through there. All right, let's go now to the 19th, where we're going to see Venus in a trine to Jupiter. Now, again, here, I think Venus, when she's in Capricorn and Aquarius, becomes very innovative, practical. She's a builder. I don't look at her as a real, girly girl with, a push-up bra on and high heels here. I mean, she could absolutely express herself that way. But here she's going to build something that gets seen in the outside world, and it's going to be something that helps contribute to the benefit of the outside world. So here, this trine that she's got going on with Jupiter is really kind of fabulous to me, even though Jupiter is retrograde. But there is this opportunity as you're kind of you're triggering your 8th house of transformation and your 12th house of the soul's history. So you could find that something expands, some natural talent that you have that is innovative. And I want to think very much it's a perception. It could be a belief system. It could be going from the dark and into the light somehow, finding some sort of, again, rather than trying to let something go because it's bad, you use that manure that it is. And I think you know the word I'm really referring to as something to help it grow, and nourish it. So this is, I think, a nice aspect. And as we come into the holidays, all of us pretty much use the end of the year to do some sort of religious celebration, whether it be Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, etc. I think it's a time to really step into our belief systems and the love we have with our connection to the divine. And I think that will be rewarded by Saturn as we move forward. On the 21st, the sun will move into Capricorn. That's pretty, normal. I'm going to go to the 24th now, where we'll see the square between Jupiter and Saturn pretty tight. It's 14 degrees, but we also see now that Mercury is at 11 degrees. In fact, wait, let me see if I can go back a day or two. Hold on a second. Oh, no, that's not. I want to go forward a couple days. Sorry. Okay, so I'm actually going to go to the 27th. I might backtrack a bit, but I think this is where we had the exact square between Saturn and Jupiter, but I think because of Mercury's influence and Mercury being on the great attractor, that this is a very powerful opportunity for you, Cancer, to use your sixth house energy to be enduring in your ninth house belief system so that you can actually start to use some hidden talents and skills that you have to expand your experience here on the planet. I think the end of the holidays could illuminate something, either through whatever experience you have of the holidays. As a Cancer, traditionally, one would think you would really be wanting to be with home and hearth and family. We can't guarantee that every Cancer has a loving family, but we do know what you want, and setting intentions for that experience and being diligent will be very powerful for you in the future, because Mercury and any planet that you have in your natal chart that's within 5 to 10 degrees of 14 degrees of Sagittarius will support you in attracting the things that you need. So now we'll have a new moon in Capricorn on the 30th, but I'm going to go to the 31st because I think the end of the year ends quite powerfully. And we see that we have an exact opposition between Mars as it's in the last degrees of fiery, roaring Leo. And this is your second house in relation to your eighth house. I would be very, this is a don't poke the bear time, this is a being very aware of your own emotional needs time and taking care of them. The nodes are on the world axis, with the north node literally being on the inception of life, 0 degrees of Aries, the 0 degrees of self, that's stretching to experience that. Pluto's telling you, Cancer, that's what it wants from you, to stretch into your individuality, to be a bit egoless there in your fourth house of home and hearth, and always being cooperative to your detriment. So it is a powerful, powerful time to be alive. And the souls that have chosen to be alive at this time have chosen great transformation and a shift in frequency and vibration. And that is evidenced by our emotional bodies and the awareness of them, the focus to where we want to go versus where we've been, and then trusting the universe to then start to supply as we recalibrate our momentums. So happy holidays to all my Cancers. May your home be merry and bright. Set your intentions for 2025. We're not done with this roller coaster ride. And please please subscribe, please share. If you'd like to get a reading with me, email me. I'll send you all the information on my intuitive and astrology readings, and I will see you in the new year. Have a wonderful, wonderful, hit that notification bell. Thanks, Cancer. Have a lovely, lovely holiday.